The ocean is a breeding ground for aberrant creations. Pressure and struggle has formed some of the most peculiar Pisces on the planet. But one fish wanted so badly to skitter along the ocean floor like a crab, they could almost reach out and touch it. But not with an ordinary fin, with something much more bizarre. The sea robin may be strange, but it's no deep cut of the deep. It's one of the most common family of fish to be found. But sometimes when circumstances get you down, you just have to crawl towards life, death, and taxonomy. Welcome back to Life, Death, and Taxonomy. It's your 30 minutes of interesting animal information. I'm Joe.
And I'm Carlos.
Thank you to Cassie for the creation of our theme song. To hear more of Cassie's music, please search Cassie Michelle on YouTube or Spotify.
And thank you to Johanna for the creation of this week's artwork. To check that out, you can follow us on Facebook or Twitter at LD Taxonomy, or visit us at our home on the web at ldtaxonomy.com. And a very special thank you to our patrons, to Tristan Taylor, Jesse Raspulich, Carol Raspulich, and Paul Chomo. Thank you so much for your support. It's greatly appreciated. Thank you for helping us keep the lights on.
And today we're talking about the marine of the marina that can swim, fly, and crawl. But more on that later.
It does all of the things.
It does do all of the
Yes.
things.
We are talking about the spiny red Gurnard.
Gurnard.
Gurnard. Yeah, spiny red Gurnard. Gurnard.
Call him Gurney for short.
That's what his friends told me to call him.
Gurney Mac.
Don't gurney me. But it's also known as the sea robin. I don't know why.
The sea robin
I've
is the
seen this
entire
thing.
family.
I don't think any of them look like robins.
It might be because of the wing-like fins. It's just, it's like a bird, and guess what a bird is? Robins are birds.
But it's funny because a similar fish to this is the red-lipped batfish, which we have covered. And now we're doing robin. Robin.
Oh.
C is for Catwoman. S is for Sparrow with a machine gun. Don't you get it, Batman? Okay, but we're also going to call it here Helicopter Hands. And James Cameron's Being John Malkovich, The Way of Water.
What the heck? There's so much there.
There's a little bit to unpack, but I think I'll if I remember, I'll talk more about it once we get into the major fact. I don't expect anyone to understand that right off the bat because I was just trying to Frankenstein a bunch of references together. So, how about we taxonomize this instead?
Sure.
Sound good? So this is in a kingdom you know, love, and are in. The kingdom is, of course, Animalia. The phylum is Chordata. You also are in it, whether or not you know or love it. The class is Actinopterygii. That's fish, bony fish in particular. That's not cartilaginous fish like rays and skates and sharks. The order is Scorpaniformes. Scorpaniformes, yeah. The suborder is Platycephaloideae. Didn't botch that at all. Platycephaloideae. D-E-I. Like deity, right? Dei. The family is Triglydae. That one's easy. The genus is Chelidonychthes. There we go. Chelidonychthes. Kind of like spiders are from Chelicerata. Chelidonychthes. The species is Spinosus. Chelidonychthes, Spinosus. But since we're in the business of naming things, it's time for my favorite part of the show, nitty-gritty nomenclature. Because it's a fish. You know what fish do when they hang out? They learn.
They swim. Oh.
They go to school. They get their degrees. They do their homework. They keep a planner. They forget to write things in their planner and then forget to look. Well, they remember to write things in their planner, but then they forget to look at it, and so they don't do their homework in the first place. So the planner was useless. And I don't know why they made me write. Never mind. This is about the fish.
Do you think in a school of fish, ichthyology is in the social sciences?
I think it's more of a. That's like that would be
geopolitics.
That'd be like their health class.
Oh, so it's like us studying biology. That's fair.
No, well, when you study biology, you
human
usually
biology.
study animals. Yeah, like I was gonna say biology,
Anatomy.
but I was like, you don't. Yeah, anatomy. There you go. I'm like, there's got to be a class where you learn about human biology, but you don't. I never took an anatomy class in high school, so. All right, I haven't taken an anatomy class at all. Bibby has because she's a nurse. She's had to take it like 4 times, but yeah, I did. That wasn't in my high school. That's why I was like, the closest thing I got to like a human anatomy class was health, where you got to talk about all the fun things.
Yeah, we had that. I feel like I remember people took anatomy, but I didn't take anatomy. I was taking physics or chemistry or something at the time.
Yeah. I took marine
science,
biology.
That's fun.
Yep. I loved it.
Speaking of which.
Yeah, so nitty-gritty nomenclature. We have Chelidonychthes spinosus. So, Joe, what does that mean? Does that mean A, spiny swallowfish, B, walking glowfish, C, spinning spinefish, or D, blue-sailed fish?
It cannot possibly be blue-sailed fish. I will be upset if it is, because the word spine is in it. I'm going to go with A. Walking spinefish, you said?
Spiny swallowfish.
That's the one I want. Yeah. Yeah,
Is that
because
your final answer?
the walking one was the walking glowfish. And I don't know anything about that. So, yeah, final answer.
So you're really sticking with the idea that spinosis or spinosis is spines?
Yeah.
Like spiny?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's either spining or spinning, but it cannot be blue.
So that's your final answer?
Yeah.
Ding, ding, ding. You're correct.
Oh.
Spiny swallowfish.
I was afraid I was going to have to turn over the tables if it was the blue one.
Just break your computer. Yeah, so Chelidon is Greek for the bird swallow, like the swallow bird. And then ichthyes is fish, and then spinosis is, you're right, it is spines. So,
Well, what is Chelicerata? That is another thing we've done before.
I don't remember. I can look it up though.
It is
Spiders.
Yeah.
That's what I mentioned earlier, but I don't know what it means.
Interesting. Maybe it has something to do with spindly little legs. Cool.
I don't know what it has to do with swallows.
That's a W for me.
Yeah. So do you want to know what this
for
thing?
Victory.
V for victory. I want to do the V in the camera, but I do not remember which one Churchill did and which one is a slur in the UK.
If it is no, it's Japanese schoolgirl style. Like whenever they take a picture.
So then you flip it around.
That's the UK version of the middle finger. If you flip it around, if your knuckles are facing someone,
and that's
bad.
the V for victory.
If I guess your knuckles would be facing somebody either way. If the palm of your hand is facing the person, that means victory, and that means good.
Okay, and that's the Japanese schoolgirl.
Yes.
Okay, there you go. V for victory. For those who are watching. Anyway. You want to hear what this thing looks like?
Sure.
Because that's interesting. So this looks like, oh, when I first saw it, I was like, oh, that's like a lionfish, just without all the frills and chills. It kind of has this bottom feeder shape, kind of like the Snowpiercer train. And it's got eyes on the top of its head, which further reinforces the whole bottom feeder thing. And just like kind of a long, slender fish body. It has blotchy red and white scales all down its body and on its tail. And it has these, bright yellow eyes with big black pupils.
Horrible yellow eyes.
Yeah, this thing kidnapped Aunt May. And she was really confused. And also drowning. But the dorsal fin on this guy is bright red, and it has Davy Jones's black spot on it. Like, this is a pirate sail if I've ever seen one. It's a large black spot, and it's ringed with yellow. So it looks like it looks like the dark sign from Dark Souls, like the big eclipse in the sky at the end of Dark Souls 3. But what I noticed, it also looks like one of this fish's eyes. So it just looks like a bigger version of their eyes. But the real party, and I mean party, is in its pectoral fins. And pectoral fins are like what Nemo uses for arms. So the dorsal fin is the thing on the back, like where like a shark's, characteristic.
Literally
fin
their
would
back, not the back of the fish, but the back of the fish.
Exactly.
The tail fin is on the back of the fish, but the fish's back is the dorsal fin.
Yes, and so the pectoral fins are the ones they use to steer, mostly, and then the caudal fin would be the back one, yes, the back of the tail part. So yes, the pectoral fins for the sea robin, the gurnard. I can't get over this. So these giant horizontal green discs, and it's just so weird. It's like this blotchy red and white fish with these bright green discs sticking out, and those discs are ringed with like a fluorescent bright blue, and bright blue dots throughout it. So I mean, it just suddenly looks like a kid's like under the sea bathroom shower curtain. It just looks so fun and festive and bright. And it's so basically what you have is just this like long goldfish with pretty fans glued to it. And it does kind of look like something from Pandora, from the Avatar world. I think at one point, like, he touches like a lizard, and then it has this big ring that comes and it flies up, and a big disc from its head, and it's ringed with like orange. And so like when I saw this, I was like, oh, this is just like that, except real. Yeah, it's just so odd that like it's everything else about it looks like a normal, like a koi fish, just red, orangish, and white, blotchy, like a koi fish. And then there's just these bright blue and green fins sticking out, like it's just some sort of chimera. But it's cool. I like it.
Yeah.
But this is, so I think we're talking about the entire family of the Triglydaes, the sea robins.
Mm-hmm.
And this is one of the, this is kind of midway in terms of size.
A nice average.
For these guys, yeah. So what is midway, Joe?
Oh, welcome to the Blood Measure Up segment, the official listener's favorite part of the show. The part of the show when we present the animal size and dimensions in relatable terms through a quiz that's fun for the whole family. It's also a part of the show that's introduced by you when you send in audio of yourself saying, singing, or chittering the words measure up into ldtaxonomy@gmail.com. We don't have a new measure up intro this week, but we are going to go back into the archives to revisit the greatest hits. Speaking of listener interaction, this animal comes from a suggestion from Eliana, and she suggested other ones too. So this is going to be, she's provided a treasure trove,
a font of new topics. Thank you.
Yeah.
Come thou font of many critters, give us things to talk about.
She says, I love this podcast and learning about all these cool animals. In case you are in need for ideas for animals to cover, I wanted to share 3 animals that I think are cool. She says 3. I'm going to keep those behind the DM screen for future reference.
Can I roll to see like what the trap
insight
is?
Roll? She ends with, thanks for letting me share these cool creatures with you, and I am looking forward to continue to learn about interesting animals. Thanks, Eliana.
Thanks, Eliana.
Without further ado, the listener's favorite part of the show.
Measure up.
Do you remember that one?
No, but the recording was saying the numbers. What are they saying, right?
Yeah.
Is that a Call of Duty reference?
Black Ops, yeah, the first video one.
Yeah,
the first one.
The numbers, Mason.
Yes. Yeah. That's from Andrew.
Is that Andrew? Yeah, yeah.
He says
he's the only person that has ever quoted that line to me. So,
well, when he sent this in, he said what I think every time a Measure Up segment comes on.
Yeah, well, I also live with someone named Mason, so imagine how many times I think about it.
You made several choices to live with someone named Mason.
Yeah, and I don't regret any of them.
I'm just saying, like, you don't just live with you've designed this situation.
I really, from the get-go, as soon as I played Call of Duty Black Ops 2 and I found out what the numbers meant, Mason, I was like, I need to live with someone named Mason. And I'm going to do whatever it takes to make this happen.
Oh, man. Whenever Mason starts like playing with blocks with like numbers and letters on them, you have to just say that constantly.
The numbers, Mason.
Or the fridge magnets.
I just, like, from the moment that he can start speaking and, like, caring about numbers and stuff like that, I just start talking, like, in a Russian accent, like Gary Oldman's Reznov. Mason, what is going on here? What are the numbers meaning, Mason? And then he's like, Dad? Sometimes I change my voice, and he gets scared, like I'm a different person. Like, I'll be like, hello there, Mason. And you'll be like, I'm like, no, it's still me, I swear. Someone hasn't taken over me and possessed my body to say, like, weird stuff. I can just do that. I'm just, like, that talented, you know?
So let's talk length. They're 40 centimeters, or 16 inches. How many spiny red gurnards go into the height of the overturned bridge in West Dunbartonshire, Scotland? A bridge that is famous for a series of unexplained canine bucket kickings since the 1950s.
What is the name of this place?
West Dunbartonshire.
Dunbartonshire. Yeah, that's about as UK as you could possibly get, I suppose.
There's like a castle or an estate called Overton, not like the Overton window, Toun, but I'm sure there's Overton windows.
Overtones.
So anyway, here's a hint. For some unknown reason, over 600 dogs have unexpectedly and suddenly leapt from the bridge, resulting in the deaths of 50 of them. So that gives you a little bit of idea of how, like,
we're talking about the height.
Yeah. So explanations range from the activity of malevolent spirits to radio waves that send dogs into a frenzy. The leading theory, however, is a combination of factors. The surrounding flora is home to mice, squirrels, and mink, the latter of which was first introduced to the area in the 1950s when this all started. Overgrown foliage, when entering either side of the bridge, may also trick the dogs into thinking they are passing by a wall with level ground on the other side. And when they leap onto the downward sloping wall, it's too late to reconsider. So they think that the dogs catch a scent of mink, which they've done studies, and dogs, even well-mannered, well-behaved dogs, vigorously run after where they catch a scent of mink urine. Because their predator instincts kick in, I guess. So they think that they're catching a whiff, jumping onto the wall, but the wall, thinking like there's just ground on the other side, not knowing there's a drop. And the walls are also sloped down. So a dog will just slide out. If they try to land on top of it, they'll just slide down.
I gotta see a picture of this because walls and bridges just don't compute.
Don't look it up yet.
Okay, well I won't, but I'm gonna guess 30. I'm gonna guess that this bridge is 40 feet high because I can't imagine it going any higher and a dog surviving a fall from that height. So I don't know what the lethal height is for a dog, but I'm sure that whoever the guys who filmed Milo and Otis do know. So I don't have them on speed dial, so I'm gonna assume it's 40 feet and that the answer is 30 because these are 16 inches long, a little bit more than a foot.
I don't know what happened, but you got really close, but you were kind of far. So the correct answer is 37.5 feet fish.
Oh, okay.
But the bridge is 50 feet high, or 15 meters. That's pretty
that
close.
makes sense. Yeah, it still checks out.
Is that nursing school quality grades?
Oh yeah, that is an 80%.
Hey, that's a W.
Yeah, that's what I would get in my anatomy class. Yeah, awesome. I mean, not awesome that a lot of dogs have died on that bridge.
Keep your dogs on a leash when you're visiting this bridge.
When you're visiting Worcestershire, Scotland.
I think a lot of them survive because it's so overgrown under the bridge that there's a lot of branches and bushes to break their fall.
Yeah, you can kind of just Jack Sparrow your way all the way to the bottom like he does in the second movie. We just watched that recently, and I was like, that's ridiculous. And that is far from the most ridiculous thing that happens in that movie.
Topical.
Yeah. Yeah, this 2000, remember 2007?
Well, I mean, because Jonathan Deep has been in the...
Oh, I forgot. I don't care. I could not care less about celebrity interpersonal drama. I don't understand why this is on everybody's minds right now. Who cares?
Stop saying that. It was real to me.
Oh gosh, I can't wait for this to get off my news feed.
I through this whole every time something like that would come up on anything I was looking at, the part of The Fugitive where the FBI agent says, "I don't care," or the marshal says, "I don't care." That plays over and over in my head.
Yeah, I just I mean, goodness, they are actors, they're celebrities. They are settling something in court. I don't understand why a single human being should care about that. Just make more movies, I guess, when you're done, right?
Let's talk.
I didn't mean to be topical. I'm so sorry.
They're a pound. I read that if you caught one on land, you're probably going to catch a pounder. But then when you find a pound and a half is getting to be this is This is a good catch territory. So 1.5 pounds, which is 0.68 kilograms, 680 grams. How many gurnards go into the weight of the largest species of crab?
Oh. Wait. What's largest? Is it the Japanese spider crab or is it the coconut crab?
I think we're going with Japanese spider crab.
Because I think one is more massive and the other one is just.
You're right. I
more
think
space.
maybe the coconut crab might be heavier, but let's talk about the Japanese spider crab. Here's a hint. This Japanese spider crab is the largest with a claw-to-claw length of over 12 feet.
Yeah, it's the largest arthropod in the world. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
But they're thin. I think they're like their carapace is only like a foot or more, maybe a little in that area, much smaller than their overall like leg span.
Yeah, they're like daddy long legs,
Yeah,
but just 12 feet.
spindly.
I mean, I can't imagine. They are very skinny. I'm going to say 30 pounds. Because I've never lifted one before. Wait, so then the answer is 30. We're going by 1 pound, right?
Mm-hmm. No, pound
Yep.
and a half. Pound and a half. Pound and a half.
20. I should have known that right off the bat, but I don't. So 20. 20 sea robins or gurnards go into the weight of one of these spindly boys.
Final answer.
Yep.
The correct answer was 28 fish.
No, there's no way that's an 80%. Yeah.
The crab can weigh up to 42 pounds or 19 kilograms.
Yeah, it's a 71%. If it was 80% when I said 30 and the answer was 37, then there's no way that it's 80%. If I said 20 and the answer is 28.
Yeah,
I know math. You can't trick me.
It's a tough loss. The kind of loss that my sister thinks is the least compelling.
Yeah, this is the worst. I was close, but no cigar.
Yeah.
I either need to be right on the money or just like astronomically wrong. So
yeah,
I'm sorry to disappoint.
If you're astronomically wrong, it's crazy because it's like, whoa, the thing is way bigger or way smaller than I thought.
And also, whoa, Carlos has been doing this for like 4 years and still doesn't know how the diameter of the Earth. I feel like that should be on a cheat sheet or something. But it's not. Maybe it will be someday. But I should just like remember it. But it took me long enough to remember that there were 5,280 feet in a mile. And that's just because of Remember the Titans.
Do you remember how big an ounce is?
In grams? No. I haven't it would be helpful for sure to understand grams. But I don't. So maybe if I watched Breaking Bad, it would make more sense to me. But I don't. So
anyway, that's all I got for that. Do you have any fast facts before we get into the major fact?
I do. So this boy lives in the northwestern portion of the Pacific Ocean. It is a bottom feeder. So it's not like free swimming a lot. It spends a lot of its time on the sea floor. It eats things like worms and crustaceans, mollusks, sometimes some small squid, whatever it can get its hands on. It's not very choosy when it comes to its food. And I think a lot of the behavior has to do with the major facts, so I'll leave that to you. But they do have something that's unique. It's called a drumming muscle. And it allows them to make a thumping sound by hitting its own swim bladder with this muscle. So it just takes one of its organs that's filled with gas, and then it just beats it like a balloon to communicate. So there you go. That's what the fish says. So yeah, and then I'll leave it at that since we're pretty far into the episode, and I think it's major fact time. Plus,
Okay.
I can explain my nickname.
Okie dokie. So, the major fact I'm titling Walking Rays. So, upon first glance, the sea robin might look like any fish except for its striking wing-like fins and the colorations you mentioned. But when you look closer, you may notice it crawling along the seafloor on what looks like like crab legs. But these legs, quote unquote, articulate individually and allow them to feel around the sandy floor, making this fish look like some sort of crustacean chimera. It's another animal we're doing that seems like a chimera, like a mix between two things.
And that's not just because it has these fans glued to its chest.
Yeah. So these legs aren't legs at all. Instead, they're adapted spines that come from the structure of their pectoral fins. So just another refresher, you already reminded us, but the pectoral fins on a fish are the fins located on either side. And then the ones on their underside in the front are their pelvic fins. And then the ones that you would think would be called their pelvic fins or something else that we talked about last time. And I reserve the right to not say that. So sea robins have large Dumbo-esque pectoral fins, but a few structural spines from these fins branch off during development to become independent of the rest of the fin. So when you look at a fish fin and you see the like rigid structures that kind of give it its fan-like shape,
it's
those
Pringles,
spines,
or not Pringle, the ruffles.
Yeah, the ruffle shape. 3 of those on each side are branched off. They're not connected to the web, not connected to the fin by webbing. And
disconnected from the web.
These spines are called walking rays. Each one of these rays is supported by unique muscles that allow them to be articulated individually. So not only are these like fin-like things not connected, they are the fin, but they're not connected, but they can move individually. So it's creepy and weird.
Like tentacles.
Walking rays support the fish while they look for food on the seafloor, and it may help stabilize them in strong currents, and it's just a little bit better for bottom feeding than just swimming along the seafloor. But in addition to locomotion, these rays also help the sea robins detect prey. So they literally, by like feeling around like Daphne looking for her glasses, but they're also highly sensitive to certain amino acids that are found in ocean invertebrates. So the spines may act as maneuverable chemoreceptors. So if you're ever a few inches tall and you're snorkeling on the seafloor and you get tapped on the shoulder, start swimming as fast as you can, because you're about to be et. Especially if for some reason you have chemicals that are found in ocean invertebrates.
You get tapped on the shoulder. He's going to tap you on the shoulder like, excuse me, would you mind being my lunch?
Would you mind being hoovered up like only a fish can do?
So the buccal pump or whatever, reverse vacuum they do.
But if you look at these fish, it looks like a crab. They have crab legs walking, but they're just very dexterous fish spines.
So that's the explanation for my nickname. Part of it. So it's James Cameron's, because it looks like the thing from Avatar, like a very brightly colored, fluorescent, odd-looking animal.
But also, James Cameron is a huge underwater enthusiast, so it works on multiple levels.
Yeah, and that's also so it's James Cameron's Being John Malkovich, because Being John Malkovich is a movie, and John Malkovich was. Have you seen Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, like the 2004 version?
Yes,
with Martin Freeman. He's like the space pope in the middle of it. Remember?
Okay.
And he's like the top part of his body comes off, and he's just got a bunch of little crab legs underneath, and he just kind of walks across the table, just the top half of his torso. And when I saw this thing in a video, I was like, that was the very first thing I thought of. It's like, oh my gosh, like a mix between John C. Reilly and Elton John is coming at me with these weird little things. So, and what? Then it ends with the way of. Have you not seen this?
John C. Reilly and Elton John. Oh,
look at the picture of this guy.
What he's dressed like. His
character. He's got these really crazy glasses, and then he's got like the John C. Reilly like hairdo. Yeah, and then I ended it with The Way of Water because that's what the next Avatar movie is called. And again, James Cameron loves Under the Sea because he's rich enough to love it. The rest of us can't love it. we just
watch his movies and
what it would be like to love it. So yeah, maybe not the best joke, but it works. I think
it was deep. It was layered.
Yeah, and it required a lot of explanation, which the best jokes do. So, anyway, continue.
That's all I got. They're spindly little weirdos that feel around with their chemoreceptors.
And it works?
It just works. Like horse armor.
All right, so that was the spiny red Gurnard. Gurnard, the sea robin. So for you out there in Podcastia, rim your fins, beat the crud out of your own swim bladder to communicate, and crawl along the sea floor with your branched pelvic fins, like the Gurnard here in Life, Death, and Taxonomy.
Hey Taxonomy Titans, I just want to remind you that we now have a Patreon. Patrons can see full video episodes and get shoutouts on the show. But ultimately, it's a way for you to help us cover some costs and get even better. Still, reviews are the best way to help us grow. So if you haven't left one yet, we'd really love to hear from you. As always, thanks for listening and engaging.
Life, Death, and Taxonomy is my favorite in the world podcast. I
was like, Bernard Butler. No, wait, that's not his name.